mga mamster! Welcome back to WinaWonders. So today is going to be a pretty chill, like just chatty book haul slash unboxing. So recently we had the 9/9 sale. For those of you guys who aren't from the Philippines, or if this like isn't a thing in other countries where
people try to ignore major catastrophes by spending most of their time and resources on online shopping, and every system is kind of complicit in that and just kind of feeds off of that. So there's like a 9/9 sale, 8/8 sale, 7/7 sale, 6/6 sale.
yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, instead of spending most of my resources and my money on things like clothes and makeup, although not gonna lie, I mean I spent a little bit of it on that too, I thought it would be a good idea to support Philippine publishing and also to support the different like university press houses and the different authors, of course, obviously, who wrote all of these books. Anyway, so this is from Pandayan Bookshop and it's in Valenzuela, so medyo malayo. I'm from Makati, so I love how unprofessional this is. I don't even have like scissors. We're just gonna rip through it. Okay. It works. I know what this is already. I was really super duper excited for this. Ow! Nicoquin is one of those writers that I think is just so talented. He just has so much insight and his technique is great and he writes about things that are relevant. It's like he's a complete package. Like, I don't know, I could get lost in a Nicoquin story and just live there. Sounds so cheesy, and I know this is super cliche to talk about Nicoquin and like summer solstice and May Day Eve, but I feel like I could probably live in those short stories forever. Definitely want to do a fill-it episode on Nicoquin because I think his bibliography is just super duper interesting, where he has everything from essays, short stories, to novels, to novellas. I feel like he has a body of work that is definitely worth exploring and definitely worth discussing. Oh my god, I'm so excited to read this. I haven't read a short story collection that I really enjoyed in a billion years. I feel like when I started this channel, it was all about the short story collections. Also because I was so into like short stories. I was writing in that genre at the time, and now it's just like, what is a short story? I didn't even mention the name of the book. This is The Woman Who Had Two Navels and Tales of the Tropical Gothic by Nicoquin, and there's a foreword by Gina Apostol, who is also one of my favorite Filipino writers. So shall we unbox the package from Ateneo de Manila Press? So I am from the rival university, let me just say that. I'm from De La Salle University, and the thing that I've always admired about Ateneo and their press is that they're so active in putting out work that is actual creative work. And I feel like that sounds like a diss. Please don't kill me. Bienvenido Center for Creative Writing. I love you a lot. Thank you for the grant. But I will say that I feel like BNSC, Bienvenido and Santos Creative Writing Center, whatever the acronym is for that, let's just say BNSC. I think it's really good at more of like interviews and critical work, but I think that the Ateneo Press does really well like with poetry, with essay collections, with novels. That sound, the tape sound. It's really strange because like if you kind of think about the traditions of both, like La Salle was sort of at the forefront of breaking with tradition, where Ateneo leans like more toward like the conservative side. But if you look at the stuff that they've published, it's kind of the opposite, and I find that very interesting. Which is to say, wala talaga sa school yan. Okay, what have we got here? Okay. Right. So the first book that I got is Interrogations in Philippine Cultural History, and I found out about this book actually through my friend Shin, who runs a YouTube channel too. I'll link it below. We did a Let's Fight video together. He mentioned reading this in one of his recent videos where he like unboxes a book box. And I also read some of Rasil B. Mojares' essays when we were still going to school last term. which feels like 100 years ago, and now thinking about that is making me sad. But we read a number of his essays, and I think that Rusil B. Mojares is a really, really good place to start when it comes to finding out a little bit more about Philippine literary, like history, cultural studies, that kind of thing. So, very interested to read this. Okay, this is kind of cute. So, for PhilLit, I've been thinking of doing this series where I reread all of the Filipino classics that we had to read in high school. And the thing is, I kind of came up with this idea because my most watched video on this channel is my Noli Me Tangere discussion video, which I don't know if that's sad or a good thing. I feel like on one hand, it might be a good thing because that means that more people are kind of getting interested in the Philippine canon, getting interested in Jose Rizal, in, you know, these classic Filipino books. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of the people who are searching that up are students that are lazy to read it, and they're like, what does it mean? Like, I want to know, because a lot of them have asked me, and of course I haven't answered because I'm all about actually reading the text. They just want you to like spill the tea, just spoil it, but we aren't gonna do that. I think I've become kind of an expert at discussing stuff without actually discussing stuff. So for those of you guys who are not Filipino or who didn't grow up in the Philippine educational system, in first year we are required to read Ibong Adarna. In second year we are required to read Florante at Laura by Francisco Balagtas. The editor is Paulo Ven Paculan, and this is actually the high school edition that people are using now. So I just felt like that would lend some, you know, some fun, like some shake to my reading. Maybe I'll be interested in the vocabulary words too, because it's always good to kind of brush up on your Tagalog skills. Okay. So this is Bata Bata Paano Ka Ginawa by Luwalhati Bautista. And I actually had Luwalhati Bautista on the mind because I watched Krisha from Third World Book Nerds video on Filipino reads that she really enjoyed. And I'll link that below. You guys, if you don't follow her, you need to follow her because she is hilarious and she has great taste in books as well. And she was talking about another Luwalhati Bautista book, Dekada 70, and how the in the movie the sons of Vilma Santos were super guapo, and so she started reading that because of that. And you know, that's so true, like that's such a mood. I feel like Vilma Santos was like the queen of the 90s or early 2000s film scene, and she was also the star of Bata Bata Paano Ka Ginawa, and that was such a good movie also. Like, I'll never forget this like line where Vilma and her husband, I can't remember now if it was it Christopher De Leon or was it Richard Gomez, where they're fighting and then she like gives him some eggs and then he yells at her and he's like, anong gagawin ko sa mga itlog na to? And she says, hindi po, tangin na gawin mo manok. And I remember cracking up and just thinking that that was so funny. And that was required reading in high school, by the way. So yeah, Bata Bata Paano Ka Ginawa. I love Luwalhati Bautista. Like, her work is personally riveting, very emotional, and she's not afraid to talk about themes that were deemed a little bit more risque or taboo for women, like sex, which is kind of what this book fixates on. So the sexual revolution, what it means for a woman to be separated, for a woman to have children that are not all from the same father. So I'm very interested in reading this again as an adult. Okay, speaking of, I also got Dekada 70, turns out. So Dekada 70 is very relevant right now because this is a book that's set during the martial law years, and it focuses on a family that has obviously like a number of characters, and one of the sons is a revolutionary. And so yeah, I'm not gonna spoil, but this is the book that Krisha said guwapo yung mga anak ni Vilma Santos in the movie adaptation. And I agree, that was Piolo Pascual. For those of you guys who don't know who Piolo Pascual is, just Google it. Just Google it. You know, the funny thing is that Piolo Pascual used to be our neighbor, and my mom like would be super obsessed with him. Like, every time we passed by his house when we were driving out of our street, she'd be like, alam mo si Piolo yung nakatira dyan. It's like, ma. These editions are so nice, by the way. I like how they actually put some thought into the construction of this book. Wow. I guess I just went like on a Luwalhati Bautista buying spree. So, okay. So this one, Desaparecidos, which means the disappeared, is also about martial law and also fixate on that era. I haven't read this, but I think this is a lot shorter than Dekada 70. So if that's a novel, I feel like this is probably a novella. I feel like this will be a pretty heavy read though, because I mean from the cover you can tell that there will be a lot of torture in this, and it's gonna be very painful. But I'm always up for that. It's a necessary evil. And then last is Gapo, at isang puting Pilipino sa mundo ng mga Amerikanong kulay brown. So this is more about diaspora and just the experience of the Philippines being in the East, but being very highly westernized, and also the Philippines being kind of America's abandoned project, to be honest, where we were beneficial during wartime. It's like when beauty vloggers say, I didn't like this that much, but I already bought it, so I'm gonna use it. It's kind of like that, I think. So yeah, I'm excited to read that too. So that is it for this book haul / unboxing. What did you guys end up getting during the 9/9 sale? Did you buy any books? What are you reading at the moment? And have you read these books? Just let me know what's up in the comments below and let's talk. That's it for now, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!